My arranged marriage CEO hated the match so much that, in the 3 years we were legally wed, he never once met me. That night, after being drugged at a business banquet, his secretary came to beg me for help. When everything was over, he didn't recognize me at all. Yet afterward, he tried to keep me as his little canary. He even said, "Don't ever fall in love with me. I will never love you, and I will never marry you." Me, because I once saved his life, my father arranged a marriage between me and the unimaginably wealthy William. Who knew that William utterly despised me, and my father, too? Although he gave my dad a 100 million bride price, he also set the condition, our marriage would be dissolved after 3 years. Even on the day we received the certificate, he only sent his secretary, Mr. Chen, with the documents. He then flew overseas for work, and I assumed our marriage would remain nothing but a formality. But 2 months before the divorce date, Secretary Chen suddenly told me to go to a hotel to find William. I thought it was something serious. But the moment I entered the suite, William pushed open the bathroom door and glared at me. His breathing harsh, his voice strained with fury. "I didn't call for special services. You have 5 seconds to get out." I froze on the spot, partly because of what he said, and partly because of how he looked. His handsome face was flushed. Moisture shimmered in his eyes, and the long tails of his eyes were red like they'd been brushed with rouge. His whole body was wet, the white shirt clinging to him like a second skin, revealing faint, sculpted abs beneath. He looked like a dangerously seductive demon. With my extensive experience watching dramas, I immediately realized. He had been drugged. I stepped forward. "Can you endure this? If not, I'll take you to the hospital. Don't let something happen." William was barely holding on, every breath heavier than the last. I reached for my phone to call Secretary Chen. But he changed his mind in an instant. He slammed me against the wall, one hand gripping my neck, and lowered his head to kiss me hard. My eyes flew wide open. I slapped his burning body. "Calm down, don't." He caught my hands, his voice hoarse. "Help me. Whatever compensation you want afterward. I'll give it." Then he kissed me again, overwhelming and merciless. When I woke up the next morning, William wasn't in bed. My whole body felt like I'd been run over by a truck, I couldn't even straighten my back. I got dressed and walked outside, and saw him wearing a white bathrobe, sitting lazily on the sofa, his posture relaxed and satisfied. Our gazes met. Images from last night flashed through my mind, and my face burned all the way to the back of my neck. I was just about to say something to break the awkwardness. When William spoke first, expressionless, "I didn't know it was your first time. You can ask for more compensation if you want." I froze. Sleeping with my own husband actually came with compensation? Thinking about saving up to buy a house, I raised 5 fingers silently. 50,000. A trace of disdain flickered in William's eyes. He handed me his phone. "Enter your account number." As I typed, I cursed him in my heart. Acting all high and mighty when offering money, and now acting all superior while actually giving it. When he reached the part where he had to enter a name, he asked, "What's your name?" I stiffened. "You don't recognize me." William countered calmly, "Should I?" I was speechless. But thinking carefully, he truly hadn't seen me once in our nearly 3-year marriage. I struggled not to laugh. "Kathy." The Kathy, with a South radical in the original Chinese spelling. He transferred 50,000. "Keep this to yourself." The fact that he didn't recognize me after hearing my name was one thing, but the fact that sleeping with him once earned me 50,000, that was something else entirely. Staring at the transaction on my phone, I thought, if I can sleep with him a few more times, wouldn't I be rich? Smiling lightly, I said, "No problem. And if you ever run into this situation again, you can come find me." William's expression darkened instantly. He called Secretary Chen in and ordered, "Take her to a pharmacy and watch her swallow a contraceptive pill. And warn her, never appear in front of me again." Secretary Chen's eyes bulged. "Boss, you." Afraid he might reveal my real identity and ruin my fortune-making plan, I cut him off immediately and pulled him toward the door. "Stop talking. Take me to get the medicine first." Outside the hotel, Secretary Chen asked, "Did you fight with the boss?" After confirming no one was around, I lowered my voice. "He doesn't recognize me. He thought I was a call girl." Secretary Chen was shocked, then quickly understood and tried to comfort me. I shrugged. "Just keep it a secret. If he needs special services again, remember to come to me." Secretary Chen looked pained. "The boss is cold and abstinent. He never messes around with women. He was drugged last night. If I hadn't contacted you, he would have forced himself to endure it." Unexpectedly, the things William did to me didn't feel abstinent at all. But the fact that he could keep himself clean, somehow that made me feel a tiny bit pleased. "And he'll find out your identity sooner or later. Isn't hiding it bad?" "How is it bad?" I sighed dramatically. It's perfect. He can't recognize me anyway. Then, with pitiful eyes, I added, I grew up fostered in the countryside. My dad didn't care, my mom didn't love me. I thought marriage would end my misery, but your boss didn't give me a single cent. Life with him is even worse than life without him. Just pity me a little, okay? Let me earn some money off him. Once we cancel the marriage in 2 months, I'll leave immediately. I won't cling to him. Perhaps moved by my tragic background, Secretary Chen sighed. Fine, but if the boss learns the truth, you must not drag me down with you. I patted his shoulder. Don't worry. I'd never implicate you. Now let's buy the medicine. You're actually going to take it? Of course. I don't like him. And we're getting divorced soon. If I got pregnant, wouldn't that be a disaster? From then on, I prayed every day for William to get drugged again. After a week with no results, I even suggested that Secretary Chen drug him. He nearly fainted. The last person who tried that had his wrist tendons cut. So I changed strategies. I asked him for William's preferences and schedule, determined to seduce him into keeping me as his canary. Coincidentally, one day at a bar, I saw William fighting with a group of men. People around whispered that a woman had tried to flirt with him, and after being rejected, hired thugs to teach him a lesson. I thought I was simply too kind. When one man raised a knife, ready to stab him from behind, I lunged forward and wrapped my arms around William. Watch out! William was unharmed, but my left arm was cut. He turned around, shock flashing through his eyes. When he saw the blood on my arm, a spark of fury ignited within them. Are you looking to die? He kicked the man with the knife away. Security finally arrived and subdued the rest. The manager hurried over, bowing and apologizing to William. William didn't spare him a glance. He picked me up and carried me straight to the car. After my wound was stitched at the hospital, he stared at me, his tone stern. Why were you there? Hopefully he wasn't suspecting I followed him. I was just hanging out. Why did you shield me from the knife? I decided to make good use of this. Lowering my lashes shyly, I whispered, a husband and wife share 100 days of grace. I couldn't bear to see you hurt. A vein throbbed at William's temple. It was a transaction, nothing like husbandly affection. But you were my first man, I said sweetly. I can't forget you. His ears reddened slightly. Awkward, he muttered, I'll transfer 50,000 for medical expenses. From now on, pretend you don't know me. Don't interfere in my business. Oh. Okay. As if. When he finished the transfer, I tucked my phone away, suddenly feeling the wound was worth it. I couldn't stop smiling. William's gaze sharpened. What are you smiling at? Nothing. I just think you're handsome and generous. A truly wonderful person. Can I add your WeChat? What for? Well, I got hurt for you. When I recover, I'll tell you so you won't worry. When in fact, I just wanted to show him my positive, sunny life, and make sure he remembered I existed. William let out a soft, derisive laugh, his sharp gaze cutting straight through my little schemes. Don't have fantasies about me. I have zero interest in you. Oh. Fine, if he didn't want to add me, so be it. I still had Secretary Chen as my inside source. I stood up to leave. But William suddenly extended his long arm and held his phone out to me. What? Didn't you want to add my WeChat? Take it and do it yourself. I was so stunned I almost forgot to react. I took his phone and added him using my alternate account. Feeling like I'd just taken another step toward fortune. Originally, I planned to recover from my injury before approaching William again. But 3 days later, my dad told me to deliver a project proposal to William. He even promised me 50,000 yuan as a courier fee. For money, of course I went. That evening, when I arrived at the hotel where William was having a business dinner, I asked Secretary Chen to hand him the documents. While waiting for an update, I sat on a flower bed downstairs, chewing the gum my dad had given me. He had made a huge deal about this meeting. Even hired a stylist for me, down to obsessing over oral presentation. About 10 minutes later, my body started heating up unbearably. I felt dizzy and flushed. I called Secretary Chen, asking if things were done. The moment the call connected, I heard William's cold scoff. Someone like Chow Feng, who sells his daughter for profit, isn't worthy of collaborating with Gu Corporation. From now on, whether it's him or his daughter, I refuse to meet them. I don't want him thinking his daughter is some priceless treasure. He can sell again and again. Secretary Chen replied, yes, sir, before finally asking me, what's wrong? My throat was dry, my face burning, and heat coursed through my veins like boiling water, as if my blood was about to burst through my skin. In that instant, it struck me. My dad wanted me and William to seal the deal. And the gum he gave me was actually an aphrodisiac. Thinking that William was my husband, and we'd slept together once before, I told Secretary Chen, give the phone to William. When William answered, I rasped, I was drugged, can you help me the way I helped you? 5 minutes later, Secretary Chen picked me up. William and I sat in the back seat. Heat crawled beneath my skin, feeling like thousands of invisible insects were gnawing at my bones. My mind faded, leaving only raw instinct. I climbed onto William's lap, kissing him wildly while unbuttoning his belt. His breath caught. He shoved me aside sharply. Touch me again and I'll throw you out onto the street. My voice trembled with grievance. Didn't you agree to help me? I agreed to take you to the hospital for gastric lavage. I froze. Images of my previous drunken lavage flashed. A tube shoved into my stomach through my nose, water poured in and pumped out. Again and again. Until I thought my soul would come out with it. I shook my head violently. No. Not lavage. If you won't help me, I'll find another man. Suit yourself, William replied icily. I was furious and miserable. You bastard. I'm your low. I swallowed the word wife at the last second and changed it to lover. Because I remembered how he told Secretary Chen to keep me away from him. If he realized who I was, not only would he refuse to help, he might even demand that 100 million back. William cast me a warning glance. Say one more word of nonsense, and I'll rip your tongue out. Rumor said he was ruthless, merciless. Only 27, yet ruling both legal and illegal circles in Haishur. I instantly wilted. I called my best friend Megan, explained the situation, and decided to go to her home to find her brother, Denny, for help. Secretary Chen didn't dare change the route, and I was desperate enough to try opening the car door to jump. William pressed my hand away from the door handle, his voice edged with impatience. Go to the place she mentioned. Only then did he release me and move away. Inside the sealed car, no one spoke. Only my ragged, shaky breaths filled the silence. When we arrived, Denny opened the car door and bent down to pick me up. I lunged forward and kissed his cheek eagerly. William suddenly pulled me back into his arms. His voice dropped dark and low. You really intend to sleep with him? So let go. His black eyes stormed with anger. I didn't understand why he was so furious. Until he slammed the car door shut. Megan and Denny, knowing my marriage to William, froze in shock outside. With the antidote walking away, I was livid. I opened my mouth to curse, but William's rough fingertips pressed hard against my lips, as if wiping off something filthy. It hurt enough to make me whimper. Secretary Chen immediately raised the divider, separating the car into 2 private compartments. William's dark gaze pinned me. Other than me? Has any man ever touched you? Angry at his unreasonable jealousy, I snapped, what does that have to do with you? He grabbed my chin. Has anyone? Yes or no? Tears welled in my eyes from the pain. No. He finally released me, murmuring like a reluctant compromise, good girl. I'll help you this once. Then he kissed me, while his hands moved decisively. I was shocked, then quickly lost in it, desperate for more. He held himself back with visible restraint, kissing the sensitive spot behind my ear, his voice low, raspy, and unbearably seductive. Slow down. I'll give you everything, in a moment. My mind dissolved. I let him do whatever he wanted. I didn't know where he took me. When I regained awareness, I was soaking in a bathtub. I stared at William in confusion. His gaze was deep, unreadable. He removed his clothes and stepped in. The hard bathtub surface hurt my back. I tried to push him away, but he seized my hands first, interlacing our fingers and pinning them to the edge. I want to go to the bed. Later. Be good. He pulled me into his arms and kissed me again. The next morning, sunlight filled the room. I woke alone in a large bed. Naked. There were no clothes in sight. Judging from the layout, this wasn't a hotel. It looked like a private bedroom. I hesitated about checking the wardrobe for something to wear. When William entered, satisfaction lingered faintly between his brows. He wore a black silk robe, loosely tied, revealing smooth, pale collarbones. And 2 faint bite marks beneath them. My bite marks. Heat surged to my face. I looked away quickly. He sat down casually. Talk. Can you get me something to wear first? Wear what? You staged this whole seduction just to get me to take your clothes off, didn't you? He tossed something at me. A pack of gum. My heart lurched. You went through my bag? It fell out of it, he said coldly. Explain. Why did you try to set me up? I didn't know the gum was drugged. William leaned over me, bracing his arms on either side, his black eyes locked on mine, as if searching every inch of my face. First time, you barged into a hotel room and slept with me. Second time, you risked your life to block a knife for me. Last night, you dressed yourself up and deliberately seduced me. For what? What exactly do you want from me? His tone was unhurried, half interrogation, half temptation. Under his gaze, I felt bewitched. And answered honestly. Those were coincidences. But, yes. I do want your money. He paused. How much? 5 million. I want to buy a big, well-renovated house. 5 million for one night with me. He scoffed. I'm at a loss. What if it's multiple nights? My mouth moved faster than my brain. His lips curved faintly. My heart thumped. I leaned in and kissed him lightly. Then stared straight into his eyes. Last night, wasn't it good? You can keep me as your canary. I can make you happy every day. His ears instantly turned red. His voice grew low, strangely enticing. You like me? No. Do you want to like me? Or, marry me? No to both. So you like my money? You only want my money? Yes. He chuckled softly, eyes glimmering. As if extremely satisfied with that answer. Remember what you just said. If you ever fall for me, or try to marry me, you won't get a single cent from me. I froze, then broke into delighted surprise. So, you're really agreeing to keep me? From now on, you'll live here at the clock tower. 5 million a month. Is that enough? 5 million a month. That was far, far beyond anything I had imagined. I smiled so wide my dimples appeared. Enough, more than enough. He brushed his fingers over my cheek and reminded me, remember, never fall in love with me. I will never love you, and I will never marry you. Thinking of the marriage certificate tucked away at home, I couldn't help letting out a little laugh. His brows lifted. What are you laughing at? You said it so seriously, it's kind of cute, but I have one condition: if I want to end this arrangement, you must agree. I planned to end it the moment our divorce was finalized. After all, as his legal wife, even if he didn't pay me, I could justify making him happy. But after the divorce, continuing like this would make me feel cheap, like I was selling my body for money. Call it my emotional bottom line. William nodded. Fine. I could barely contain myself. So, are you transferring the money now? He paused, letting out a helpless laugh. You really? I cut him off, reaching for the belt of his robe. Don't worry, I'm very diligent, both in taking money and in providing services. He grabbed my hand. Not so fast. I need to get a divorce first. I froze. A divorce already? How was I supposed to continue my little game then? William raised a brow at me. Surprised I'm married? No, well, I mean, you don't have to divorce. I won't tell your wife about us. William's expression turned solemn. The first night? I was forced by circumstances. But last night, I willingly violated the fidelity of my marriage. I tried to convince him. What's the big deal? Rich men keeping women on the side is practically normal. I don't care what other people do, he said firmly. But I must give her at least basic respect. Even if she's only my wife in name. Then he walked out of the bedroom and said to Secretary Chen, call Miss Chow now. Inform her we're ending the engagement early. I had no clothes on, so I couldn't run out and stop them. Within half a minute, my phone began ringing loudly in the quiet room. I thought if I just didn't answer, maybe I could still get away with this. But William came back in. Your phone is ringing. You're not going to pick up. My heart pounded wildly. I'm not wearing anything. I'll ignore it. I'll get it for you. No. Before I finished speaking, he had already walked to the cabinet opposite the bed. And reached into my bag. That moment, I finally understood the true meaning of despair. But I quickly consoled myself, fine. Maybe I'm not meant to be rich. When I was born, a fortune teller said my fate was terrible. That I would bring misfortune to my parents. Coincidentally, that year my dad's business collapsed, and my mom took up with a pretty boy toy and demanded a divorce. Both of them blamed everything on me. Claimed I ruined their marriage and their careers. They dumped me at my grandaunt's home in the countryside. Her family was poor. I slept in the same bed as her my whole childhood. No privacy, no personal space. Sometimes when her husband returned, I was kicked to a mat on the floor. Even after I was brought back for the arranged marriage with William, my dad still wouldn't let me live at home. And made me rent outside. Having a home of my own had become my biggest obsession. Thinking William was about to discover my identity, my heart sank into absolute hopelessness. But then, he handed me my phone. She hung up. I took it and stared. It hadn't rung because someone called. It had shut off from low battery. A tiny spark of hope flickered in me. I hurried to distract him. That's fine. Can you get me something to wear? I want to get up. After putting on the clean clothes William prepared for me, I walked to the living room. He was asking Secretary Chen, what did Miss Chow say? Secretary Chen glanced at me. I immediately cut in. William, can Secretary Chen take me to get the morning after pill before we do anything else? If I take it too late, I might get pregnant. He clearly did not want that. Fine. Remember to bring the key to the front door. I have business later. Move in by yourself. Inside the elevator, Secretary Chen stared at me in shock. What exactly is going on between you and the boss? I exhaled dramatically. He's decided to keep me as his canary. Then he's divorcing you. Yes. But can you not use your connections to speed up the process? Just follow the normal procedure. Register, wait a month during the cooling-off period, and then get the divorce certificate. I was determined to earn $5 million during that month. Secretary Chen hesitated, but after my shameless pleading, he agreed and took me to register the divorce. That afternoon, my dad called. When he learned William refused to work with him, and that we had filed for divorce, he exploded in rage. Afraid he'd ruin my plans, I lied, I took the gum early. When the drug hit, I found a male model at the bar. My dad nearly fainted from fury. But since I was now tainted, he no longer had the leverage to cling to the Gu family, and reluctantly accepted that the arranged marriage had ended. I let out a long breath of relief. The good news was, that night, when I told William I'd moved into the clock tower, he immediately transferred $5 million to me. The better news was, he seemed to forget about his little canary completely, and didn't contact me for an entire week. So that night, thinking he wouldn't suddenly appear, I went to a bar with Megan. There happened to be a dance for free drinks event, so we got on stage and performed a hot duet of Troublemaker. When we came down, a lot of men were staring at us. Especially my ex, Ian, whose peach blossom eyes practically clung to me. I understood why. When we dated, I dressed conservatively. Even in summer, I wouldn't show my calves. My ankles had to be covered. Now, in a black crop top and black mini skirt, my pale waist and long legs were on full display. Our eyes met. Megan and I both felt unlucky, and wanted to avoid him. But his girlfriend, Ruai, suddenly tightened her grip on his arm, looked me over, and pouted. You said Kathy was ugly, dressed like a country bumpkin, and didn't turn you on at all. But today she looks clearly beautiful. Why did you lie to me? Ian chuckled softly. You're jealous? Don't be. She only has a face. She's boring as hell. Even if she stood naked in front of me, I'd feel disgusted. I dumped her ages ago. I froze. The boy who once professed eternal love for me, on stage at our freshman ceremony, was now humiliating me in public. And the reason we broke up was because he couldn't let go of Ruai, the white moonlight he cheated with. Thinking of how foolishly I loved him, a sharp pain stabbed my chest, and hot tears spilled from my eyes. Megan couldn't stand it. Shut up. Your pathetic dog-like pursuit of Kathy is still pinned on the school forum for juniors to study, and Kathy's man now is William, High City's most powerful tycoon. Watch your mouth unless you want to die. The crowd suddenly fell silent, staring at us with mixed expressions. I was stunned. I didn't expect Megan to drag William into this. Thankfully, she said man, not husband, or my secret would have exploded on the spot. Ian blinked, then looked behind us. He let out a derisive laugh. Well, speak of the devil. CEO Gu is right there watching. If he's really Kathy's man, I'll kneel and call you two grandmas. If not, you two can kneel and call me grandpa. Megan and I turned around sharply, and saw William sitting on a bar stool, wearing a tailored shirt and dress pants, looking effortlessly elegant. The shifting neon lights bathed his sharp features, making him look even more breathtaking. His deep, shadowed gaze cut straight through the crowd, and locked onto me. The moment our eyes met, my heart lurched sharply. Had he been sitting there this whole time, watching everything from start to finish? Megan looked thrilled, as if we'd already won. But all I felt was cold fear sinking into my stomach. I was nothing but his hidden canary. A woman he'd never acknowledge in public. How could he possibly admit he was my man? And what Megan said, it basically damaged his reputation. Who knew, he might even come settle the score with us. I grabbed Megan, wanting to leave, but Ian refused to let us go. He stepped forward and blocked our path. Trying to run? Call me grandpa first. You're sick, I snapped. I never agreed to bet with you. Then a low, velvety voice sounded above my head. Why not bet? Don't you want him to kneel and call you two grandmas? I froze and looked up. William was walking toward me. His long fingers brushed away the cold tears on my cheeks, then he leaned in and pressed a kiss to my lips. Just like the onlookers, my eyes flew wide open, and I held my breath in absolute shock. I couldn't believe William would do something like that. He gazed at me with a tender amusement. Want to or not, you have to want to. After all, I'm your man. My heartbeat went wild, fluttering like a frightened deer. William turned to Ian, his voice calm, yet carrying the oppressive authority of someone born to command. Kneel properly. And louder. Ian's face twisted with humiliation. I was just joking around with Kathy. Please don't take it seriously. William's lips curved, but the smile never reached his eyes. If you refuse to keep your promise, to kneel and call them grandmas, then I'll have my men strip you here and now, and let you experience what true humiliation feels like. At those words, several black-suited bodyguards moved in, surrounding Ian. He turned ghost-white instantly. Finally, defeated, he knelt before Megan and me, and obediently called each of us, Grandma. William looked at me. Satisfied? I gave a small nod. Then he turned back to Ian. Stay away from Kathy from now on. If I hear you bother her again, I won't kill you, but I'll make you wish you were dead. Ian agreed repeatedly, then dragged Ruai away. Megan burst out laughing. God, CEO Gu is so handsome. Afraid she'd say something even more outrageous, I tried to pull her away, but William said he needed to talk to me, and took me with him instead. The moment we got into the car, he asked, "What's your relationship with that man earlier?" We dated. We broke up. I kept my tone light. You still have feelings for him? No. Then why did you cry for him? William turned his head to look at me. The neon lights of the city flickered through the tinted window, illuminating his face in striking shadows. You're my woman, he said quietly. Yet you cried for another man. That's embarrassing for me. If it happens again, don't blame me for losing my temper. Then his gaze dropped to my exposed waist and long legs. From now on, clothes that show off your figure. You can only wear them for me, not for other men to enjoy. I was speechless. With a hint of defiance, I muttered, I'm just your canary. The girl who solves your physical needs. You don't have to make so many demands. He paused, then let out a cold laugh. Oh? And did you solve them tonight? Instead of staying home, you were out partying at a bar. I retorted without thinking, you didn't come. I wait for you every day. It gets boring. So I went out for a bit. What's wrong with that? Surprise flickered in his eyes. You wait for me every day? Of course not. The truth was, being a canary who gets paid but doesn't have to work, was heaven. But to stay in character, I still gave a soft hum of acknowledgement. Unexpectedly, he leaned in slightly and murmured, do you wait for me, or for my body? Remembering his rule, that if I liked him, I wouldn't get his money. I forced myself to answer, your body. His ears turned faintly red. I wanted to sink through the floor. Desperate to change the subject, I said, I didn't expect Megan to say something crazy like calling you my man. If that caused you trouble, I can help clarify publicly. His eyes narrowed. I admitted it, and you want to clarify? Are you trying to slap me in the face? No, I just thought. I'm just a canary who can't be seen. He cut me off. I never said you can't be seen. If you want to go out with me, just tell me. My eyes widened in shock. I can still go out with you. Yes. Then if I want to watch a movie, will you go with me? Yes. What about shopping? Yes. Then if you talk too much. He leaned over and sealed my mouth with a kiss. Only after a long moment did he pull away, resting his forehead against mine, breathing lightly. Sleep with me tonight. I nodded. But once we got into bed, the realization that this was the first time we were doing it, while both sober, made me so nervous I squeezed my eyes shut. He seemed to read my mind. He lowered his head and chuckled softly. What does closing your eyes mean? Nervous? Shy? Both, I whispered. It's not the first time. Be good, open your eyes. Look at me. Feeling his burning gaze on my skin, I obeyed. And met his eyes at close distance. My heart pounded uncontrollably. He kissed me again, then paused right at the crucial moment. Do you have condoms? No. Then I'll order delivery. It's okay. I can take the pill. No. The pill is bad for your body. But you won't enjoy it as much. Compared to your health, that little pleasure is nothing. I was stunned by how genuinely he cared. After he placed the order on his phone, I was still dazed. What are you thinking about? He asked. Afraid he'd think I was overthinking, I blurted something random. I was wondering what happiness feels like. He was startled. You've never felt happy before? I fell silent. He became serious. Then what did you feel the previous times? God, how was I supposed to say this? Say it, he insisted softly. It's important to me. I inhaled deeply and braced myself. The first night, you were drugged. I only felt pain. The second night, I was drugged. I barely had any consciousness. I just felt hot and thirsty. His eyes darkened. I'm sorry. Tonight, I'll pay attention to how you feel. My face burned. It's fine. I'm not picky. No. Your feelings matter. My heart trembled. Thinking of how he publicly claimed to be my man. And how seriously he cared for my health and comfort, something tender and overwhelming grew inside me. A vine curling, climbing, spreading. Before I could stop myself, I asked quietly, why do you care about me so much? Do you like me? The desire in his gaze vanished instantly, leaving only a cold, bottomless black. His hand on my neck shifted. From caressing to control. Don't look for trouble. I care because only when you're healthy and enjoying it can I feel pleasure. That's all. Whether he was convincing me or convincing himself, I didn't know. He added sharply, don't ever ask me such stupid questions again. I will never like you. My cheeks burned with embarrassment, but I quickly steadied myself. Wasn't this exactly the kind of arrangement I wanted from the beginning? A relationship of mutual benefit, no emotions involved. So why had I started acting like a love-struck fool, thinking his kindness meant affection? I know. I was just asking casually. As long as you're obedient, I'll give you anything. Except love and marriage. But reality was uncontrollable. I had really, truly fallen for William. Because he treated me far too well. After that night. We each did our own work during the day, and at night. We explored pleasure together. He was like a calm, meticulous observer, patiently reading every twitch of my expression, learning what pleased me, guiding me, leading me, serving me. Every time was overwhelming joy. And beyond that, luxury watches, handbags, dresses, shoes. Anything he thought suited me, he bought. He truly took me to the movies, and even accompanied me to the snack street he disliked. But I adored. Sometimes, when I got hungry at midnight, he'd get up and cook noodles for me. My feelings for him grew deeper and deeper. And the moment he washed my blood-stained underwear by hand, the thought of spending my life with him hit me harder than ever. But remembering he forbade me to like him, I didn't dare confess. With only 3 days left before the divorce certificate, I asked Megan out for lunch. To help me figure out whether I should tell William the truth. We hadn't even reached the restaurant when, in the hallway, a poised and glamorous woman suddenly appeared. And rose on her toes to kiss William on the cheek. When William saw me, the man who was always calm and composed showed a fleeting moment of panic. The woman, however, remained perfectly relaxed. Familiar, even intimate, she hooked her hand around William's wrist and leaned against his shoulder. We know each other, she said lightly. A thought flashed across my mind like a cold blade. She must be the one he likes. That would explain his panic. He was afraid I'd expose whatever dirty secret existed between us. A sour, painful heaviness spread across my chest. I forced a smile. Nope. Don't know her. You two go ahead. Then I dragged Megan away. Back in the private room, Megan exploded with outrage. William's the one cheating, so why didn't you go up there and hit him? Why did you run? Before I could speak, my tears came first. He's never admitted I'm his wife, I whispered, voice trembling. As a canary like me. What right do I have to want, huh? But everything he's done for you. Anyone can see he likes you. I wiped my face and let out a bitter laugh. We were too naive. Everything he did was just to make me obey willingly. Good thing I hadn't told him my identity or feelings. Otherwise, he'd laugh in my face. Megan comforted me for a long while, and after we parted, I returned to the clock tower apartment. That night, William came out of the shower and climbed into bed, waking me with a kiss. Afraid he wanted intimacy, I snuggled into his arms like usual. And murmured, I'm tired today. I want to sleep. He paused. Don't you have anything you want to ask me? The image of that woman kissing him stabbed at my chest, soft and suffocating. But I didn't want to humiliate myself. So I hardened my tone. Nope. He fell silent for a moment. You saw another woman kiss me. And you felt nothing? I froze. I couldn't tell whether this was a test, or if he was preparing to lay out the rules. To remind me of my place. And that I had no right to be jealous. So I masked everything. And looked up at him. Of course I felt something. I was scared you'd spend money on her. And stop spending it on me. The light in his eyes brightened. Then dimmed. His voice grew faint and strangely disappointed. So all you care about is my money. I blinked, confused. Isn't that good? You said you would never love me. You told me not to love you. We're just using each other. You're doing very well. Of course. He would never have feelings for me. The pain deepened again. I closed my eyes, ready to sleep. But suddenly he pinned me down. And kissed me with a wild, brutal hunger. I yelped and pushed at him. What's wrong with you? That hurts. Good, he growled. Because I'm upset. And you're not getting any pleasure tonight either. Are you crazy? Why should your bad mood be my problem? Why not? I'm paying for you. Making me happy is your job. His kiss grew even harsher, sharp enough to break my lip. And make me taste blood. All the humiliation I'd swallowed today burst out at once. Through tears, I choked out, fine. I'll give your money back. Let's end this. He froze. Completely. The feverish rage in his eyes faded. And he came back to himself. He cupped my face, wiping my tears. I'm sorry. I don't know what came over me. Don't say things like ending this. I won't do that again. I sniffled. Then let's end it in 3 days. He stiffened. What do you mean? You said 5 million per month, right? In 3 days, it'll be a full month. I don't want to renew. Why? Because in 3 days, we would officially be divorced. Because he let another woman kiss him. Because I wanted a real relationship. Not this. But I couldn't say any of that. So instead I asked, why are you even asking why? Didn't you promise you'd agree? If I said I wanted to end it? He stared at me. You're sure? Yes. His hand on the mattress slowly curled into a fist. Then loosened. He exhaled. Fine. He got out of bed. And walked out of the room, stiff and silent. Through the door left slightly ajar, I heard the click of a lighter. And smelled faint cigarette smoke. So, he smoked too. I lay there, staring at the ceiling, feeling hollow and tired. He didn't come back. The front door opened. And closed. William left. Sleep never came. I lay awake until dawn. For the next 2 days, William didn't contact me. I didn't contact him either. When I left the clock tower with my luggage, I sent him one final message. The month is up. I've left. Your key is on the coffee table. He didn't reply all day. Only that night, he changed his WeChat profile picture to a pure black square. And set his moments to visible for 3 days only. I took that as acknowledgement. On the 3rd morning, I met Secretary Chen at the Civil Affairs office. When we were about to take a queue number, he suddenly asked, Are you sure you want to divorce the boss? He sighed. I feel like the boss likes you. When he was with you, he was attentive and genuinely happy, but after you two fought these past days, he's been blowing up at the company non-stop. I've never seen him that angry. He yells at everyone. Even kicked the trash can next to the elevator. I stared at him, stunned. This, probably has nothing to do with me. It's definitely not about some other woman. Boss doesn't have anyone else besides you. But I saw. Seeing doesn't mean true. Why don't you call and ask if he likes you? I refused. But Secretary Chen insisted. And ended up calling for me. Boss, your mood has been bad these days. Is it because of Kathy? Do you like her? My heart leaped into my throat. I listened with every nerve stretched tight. William's voice was ice cold. No. I was just playing with her. Where are you? Why aren't you at the company? I'm at the Civil Affairs office picking up your divorce certificate. William sounded surprised. Didn't we divorce already last time? That was registration. This time is picking up the certificate. Oh. Finish early and come to the company. Then he hung up. Secretary Chen and I stared at each other. Half an hour later, I held the red divorce certificate in my hands. I returned to my rental apartment. And told my dad about the divorce. His reaction was small. Because he was getting divorced too. 3 days later, at the Yunting Hotel, I was waiting for the elevator with my dad. When we unexpectedly ran into William. Talking to a few people. He acted as if he didn't see me. Didn't spare me a glance. And didn't acknowledge my father either. I grew nervous, worried my dad might try to kiss up to him, saying something like, Even after divorce, please continue taking care of us. Thankfully, he was too absorbed in his own troubles to notice William at all. When the elevator arrived, William and those men stepped inside. I wanted to wait for the next one, but my dad tugged my hand and pulled me in. William seemed to glance at our joined hands. But he stood behind us, so I couldn't be sure. The elevator felt suffocating. Until we finally stepped out. And I saw William didn't follow. Only then could I breathe again. In the private room, I buried myself in my food. While my parents discussed how to divide the property. And who I should live with. Of course they couldn't agree. And started fighting again. My head throbbed. I put down my chopsticks. You two decide first. I'm stepping out. I walked to the hallway window. And pushed it open slightly. So the cold air could clear my head. Soon, my dad came out. He lit a cigarette. And looked at me. What do you want? Stay with her, or stay with me? I pressed my lips together silently. He sighed. Stay with me. I can buy the plot of land where your great-aunt lived. You can build your own house there. My heart trembled. My great-aunt had no children. After she and her husband passed away, her husband's nephew took the house by force. I always wanted to buy the land back, to rebuild a home in the place where she gave me warmth. But the nephew demanded an outrageous price. Hearing my dad offer this, I was tempted. I smiled faintly. All right. If you can get that land, I'll stay with you. My dad let out a relieved breath. And reached out to touch my head. But suddenly, a strong, elegant hand grabbed my wrist, and yanked me backward. I gasped, and steadied myself, only to look up, and see William's eyes, filled with a storm of fury. His voice was cold and mocking, sharp enough to freeze the air. 3 days after we split. And you've already found yourself a new man? Or were you flirting with him? Even while you were with me? He gave my dad a contemptuous glance. With this old man? Is he richer than me? Or does he make you happier in bed? My dad was so startled that the cigarette slipped from his fingers and fell to the floor. I was stunned too. I couldn't understand how William had mistaken my father for some other man I was involved with. But after hearing the outrageous things he said, I was overwhelmed with hurt, disappointment, and anger. I gathered all my strength, and slapped him hard across the face. My voice cracked, harsh and shaking. If I'm that disgusting in your eyes, then why the hell are you talking to me? Get lost. 5 bright red finger marks bloomed across his pale cheek. His voice grew colder, sharper, even more mocking. I didn't want to talk to you. But then I thought. You once slept with me, and now you're sleeping with someone old enough to be your father? It's embarrassing. His eyes glinted with hurt under the fury. If you want money, fine. If you want sex or land, say the word. I'd give you everything. So why him and not me? Am I really worth less to you than some old man? The more he spoke, the more unhinged he sounded. And by the end, there was even a trace of grievance in his voice. I was speechless. My dad's expression was a mess of red and green, furious yet restrained. My father may be 58, but he's a tall man, 6 feet, handsome features, muscular from years of training. He's a very striking older man. But hearing William repeatedly call him an old geezer, he could only swallow it down, clear his throat, and speak solemnly. Mr. Gu, I don't know why you misunderstood something between me and Kathy, but let me clarify, we are a proper father-daughter pair. I am her father. She is my daughter. William froze as if lightning had struck him. It took him a long moment before he asked awkwardly, He's really your dad? I rolled my eyes. My father cut in, Of course I am. Then he turned to William, confused. How do you not know this? You were my son-in-law for 3 years. Her husband for 3 years. A vein throbbed at William's temple. You mean, the daughter I married in that arranged marriage was Kathy? My father sighed. She's my only daughter. Who else could it be? For the first time ever, William's usually stoic face showed shock, excitement, and relief. He exhaled and first apologized to my father, then turned to me with a small smile. So we were married all along. You hid it from me well. I let out a cold laugh. Not anymore. We divorced 3 days ago. A crack appeared in his perfect expression. That doesn't count. I never agreed. Oh? Did you forget you personally ordered Secretary Chen to notify me about the divorce? And the certificate is stamped. You have your copy. That's it. I took my dad's hand and turned to leave. He grabbed my wrist. I still have things to say to you. I don't want to hear them. I like you. My dad and I were both stunned. My father, thrilled beyond belief, immediately released my hand and urged, talk to him properly. Then he left. William pulled me closer, his hand steady around my waist. His gaze locked onto mine, serious. Kathy, I like you. Can we start over? My heart thumped violently. But luckily my sanity held. Weren't you just playing with me? How did that turn into liking? You overheard what I said to Secretary Chen. He sighed and spoke slowly. I had an older brother. He was brilliant. But he fell in love with a woman with narcissistic personality disorder. She tormented him until he killed himself. For the family's reputation, my parents announced he died from sudden illness. That incident changed me. I swore I would never love anyone, never let a woman affect my emotions. His voice softened. But when you shielded me with your body, risking your life, from that moment, I liked you. I'd never been in love, so I didn't recognize it. I just knew I wanted to see you smile, wanted to be good to you. Then when I saw you kiss another man, cry for another man, and saw you indifferent when another woman kissed me, I felt furious. My insides burned like fire. He looked at me, eyes clear and unwavering. Now I finally understand. I like you. I want to be with you. His sudden tragic backstory and heartfelt confession left me speechless. He grew anxious. Can't you try to like me? Give me a chance? I stabbed him with my words. Are you sick? Why would you like someone like me? Someone who'd sleep with an old man for money? His face stiffened. He sighed, remorseful. I'm sorry. I was angry earlier and spoke too harshly. No misunderstanding. I really do like money. His eyes softened. Then perfect. I'm the richest person around. Stay with me, and your only job is to spend my money. I was slightly startled. Say things like that, Aren't you afraid you'll end up like your brother? Destroyed by love? He shook his head. No. Because I know you're kind. You won't hurt me. And I won't hurt you. I'll love you properly. But not long ago, you swore you'd never love me, never marry me. How am I supposed to believe you now? He rubbed his forehead. I was pretending to be cold. I didn't expect you'd have such an effect on me. Enough to make me willingly kneel before you emotionally. If possible, I'd remarry you right now. I smiled faintly. Say that again when you've sobered up. People who aren't meant to be, always separate in the end. Just like my parents. They're nearly 60. And still sitting inside negotiating their divorce. He blinked. So when your father said, stay with me, he meant after their divorce. You were choosing between living with him or your mom. I raised an eyebrow. What else would he mean? A month and a half later, my parents did divorce. And I didn't stay with either of them. I returned to my great-aunt's village. William came too. Or rather. He clung to me shamelessly. Despite my objections. He bought back my great-aunt's land. At its proper price. I designed the house. And hired a professional team. 2 months later, the structure was complete. And William still hadn't left. When he wasn't working remotely, he was acting like a full-time house husband. Buying groceries, cooking meals, washing clothes, mopping floors. Tall, elegant, noble-tempered William had become the village auntie's favorite gossip topic. Unable to withstand the pressure, I finally tried to kick him out. Can't you go back to High City? I don't need you here. He sat on the sofa, pressed his handsome face against my neck, and said in a hoarse, spoiled tone, no. I need to see you all the time. Goosebumps crawled over my skin. What about the woman in High City? Aren't you supposed to go kiss her? He chuckled, cupped my face, and smiled. You finally asked. She's my cousin. She grew up abroad. That was just a cheek kiss greeting. Oh? Then I'll go find a cousin to kiss too. Don't you dare. Why not? It's just a cheek kiss, right? He sighed dramatically. Fine. It was my fault. I won't let her kiss me again. My body and heart belong only to you. I gave a soft hum. He asked, so when are we remarrying? Depends on your performance. He looked utterly wronged. What more do you want from me? I'm your ATM machine online and offline. I couldn't help laughing, shoulders shaking. He stood, grabbed my hand, and dragged me outside. Come on. Let's ask the village aunties whether there's anyone as cruel as you. Panicking, I grabbed the table leg, while laughing uncontrollably. No, no, no. Fine. I'll agree. He stopped, leaned in, eyes bright. Call me, husband. No. I'll call you, sugar daddy. His jaw tightened. You, if you don't want to, fine. Pretend I didn't. Before he could finish, he suddenly lowered his head. And claimed my lips in a fierce, breath-stealing kiss. Then he scooped me up. And carried me toward the bedroom. After a long, intimate discussion. He finally heard what he wanted. A soft, breathless, husband.